Hey guys, today we are looking at adding, subtracting, and multiplying polynomials. So when we're adding and subtracting, we're just collecting like terms here. So in the first set, I have 1x to the fourth. In the second set, I have 2x to the fourth. So in total, I have 3x to the fourth. And then I have 2x to the third, and I have no other x to the third, so I have 2x to the third. I don't have any x squareds or x's, but I have a positive 8 and a negative 9, so that combines to give me a minus 1. When we're subtracting, we need to distribute that negative. We need to subtract out everything in that second set. So I have 3x to the third minus 5x to the third. So that's a negative 2x to the third. Then I have 8x squared minus a negative x squared. So that's 8x squared plus 1x squared. So that's 9x squared. Then I have negative x, and I don't have anything else. So that's still a minus x. And I have negative 5 minus 17. So that would be a minus 22. All right, when we're multiplying, each term gets multiplied to each term of the other. So just like when we FOIL, we have to multiply each piece together. FOIL is just an acronym to help us to take all of those pieces and combine them. So when I FOIL, you come up with, or when I multiply out, I come up with a method. So I'm going to take all three of these terms and multiply them by 2x. And then I'm going to take all three of the terms and multiply them by 1. So I have 4x squared times 2x is 8x to the third. And then I have x times 2x is 2x squared. And I have a minus 5 times 2x, I have minus 10x. One thing that helps me then is I'm going to line up these pieces as I need to add them together. So when I multiply by 1, I have 4x squared times 1, that's a positive 4x squared. I have x times 1, that's an positive 1x, then I have negative 5 times 1, that's a minus 5. So since I line them up, that makes it really easy to combine everything together. You could put them all in a row and cross out, and that works as well. But now I have 8x to the third, and I have 2x squared plus 4x squared, so that's 6x squared. And I have minus 10x plus 1x, so that's minus 9x. And I have 0 plus a negative 5, so that's minus 5. So on the second one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to take x and multiply by each of those three terms. So I have x times 5x squared, so that's 5x to the third. I have x times 3x, so that's 3x squared. And I have x times the minus 1, so that's minus 1x. Then I have 2 times 5x squared is 10x squared. I have 2 times 3x is 6x, and I have 2 times the minus 1 is minus 2. So again, I'm going to combine those. So I get 5x to the third plus 13x squared plus 5x minus 2. Then for C, same thing, but we have three terms there on each of them, so a little more to multiply through. So I'm going to do x squared times x squared is x to the fourth. Then I'm going to do x squared times 4x is 4x to the third. I'm going to do x squared times 2, so 2x squared. Then I'm going to do minus x times x squared. That would be a minus x to the third, or negative x to the third. Then I have the negative x times 4x, so that's minus 4x squared. I have the negative x times 2, so that's minus 2x. Then I have negative 3 times x squared, so that's negative 3x squared. And then I have negative 3 times 4x, so that's minus 12x. And then I have negative 3 times 2, so that's a minus 6. When I combine all of those, I have x to the fourth. And then I have 3x to the third. Then I have 2 minus 4 minus 3, so is that negative 5x squared? I have negative 2 minus 12, so that's minus 14x, and minus 6 is my answer there. Okay, so I need to erase this. I need to go back and I need to multiply out these first two. So I'm going to go ahead and FOIL these out. So I have x squared. Then I have minus 1x and minus 2x. So that's a minus 3x. And if you need to write it out separately and combine it, you can. Then I have negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. And then I have times x plus 3. So now I'm going to multiply each of these first 3 times x, and then these first 3 times 3. So I have x squared times x is x to the third. Then I have minus 3x times x is minus 3x squared. And then I have 2 times x is plus 2x. So then I have x squared times 3 is 3x squared. And then I have the minus 3x times 3, so minus 9x. And then I have 2 times 3 is 6. So now when I combine those, I have x to the third. And then those cancel. And I have 2 minus 9 is minus 7x. And then I have plus 6 is my answer. Okay, so special patterns. We have sum and difference, we have square of a binomial, and we have cube of a binomial. So sum and difference, we know this through factoring. We have x minus y and x plus y. When we put that together, we have x squared minus y squared. The square of a binomial. That's where we take like x plus y and we square it. And that looks like x squared plus 2 times x times y plus y squared. Sometimes you'll hear that called square double square. You square the first, you double the x times the y, and then you square the last. Cube of a binomial looks like x plus y to the third power, and so that's x to the third plus 3 times x squared y plus 3 times x y squared plus y to the third. Those are all special patterns that will help you if you have those memorized to fill in the blanks and to make life a little easier to solve some problems. You won't have to work through and do them by hand. So if I look at A, that special pattern is the square of a binomial. So I'm going to think square double square. So I'm going to square the first. So 5a squared is 25a squared. Then I'm going to double. So I have 5a times 2, so that's 10a. And then I need to double it. So I have 20a. And then I'm going to square the last. So 2 times 2 is 4. Now on this last one, we have the cube of a binomial. So it says to take the first term and cube it. So 2 to the third is 8, m to the third. Then I need to do 3 times x squared, so 2m squared times y, and y in this case is negative 3. Then I need to do 3 times just x, so that's 2m, and then I need to square negative 3. And then for my last one, I need to cube that negative 3. So I have 8m to the third, and then I have 2 squared is 4 times 3 times negative 3. So that's a minus 36 m squared. And then I have negative 3 squared on this next one. So that's a positive 9 times 3 is 27 times 2 is 54 m. And then I have negative 3 to the third power, so minus 27. Now, Can you go ahead and FOIL that out if you wrote 2m minus 3, 2m minus 3, 2m minus 3? Absolutely. Is that the most efficient way? Probably not, but it is still possible to do it that way. All right, guys, if you have questions, feel free to come in and see me. I'll see you in class.